Congratulations. Suddenly you're rich. The price of silver, the price of gold have skyrocketed. We've dreamed about this day, right? We have gold. You know, we hear these numbers of like $15, $20, $50,000 per ounce. Silver, we hear about $100 per ounce. We hear about $85 per ounce. What about $600 or even $1,000 per ounce? Look, guys, it's not out of the question, right? The situation could get so bad with the US dollar that literally the price of gold, the price of silver, the price of platinum go through the roof. Numbers that we can't even imagine. And while we think this might be a dream scenario for us, are we prepared? Because it could turn into a real nightmare. There's a number of factors that we all need to think about. We need to be prepared if indeed the system gets to the point where it's fallen apart, where the prices measured in dollars, measured in fiat, measured in unicorn fart dust, right, get that high that we want to be prepared. Because while it's easy to dream about that and to believe that we've prepared ourselves, if we haven't actually mentally and have a plan in place of what we'll do, it could turn into a real nightmare. There's a couple big keys to consider, right? Number one, what you want. Why do you own silver? Why do you own gold? Why do you own platinum? To protect yourself, right? To protect yourself in the event of one of these big catastrophic type events. And if we look back on history, we know those events happen, okay? But there's more than just precious metals to consider, right? You want to consider food. You want to consider shelter. You want to consider security, right? Are you going to be safe, right? Because we don't want to talk about the worst case scenarios, but that could become a very unsafe environment. You want to have family and friends. It's so important. Right? What's it all worth without your family and your friends anyway? And people can help each other. That's what you guys do a lot on this channel. That's what you guys do a lot of in these live streams is help each other. So one of the, think about your primary needs first, right? Food, family, shelter, friends, security. Your health is very important as well. You want to keep yourself as healthy as possible because without your health, you don't have anything. Okay? Now, can it happen? Can we get into a situation? I mean, people say this all the time, right? Don't you hear it all the time? Like, you don't want to have a situation where there's $10,000 gold. You don't want to be around in a situation where you have $600 silver. Well, talk to the people in Weimar, Germany. Talk to the people in Venezuela right now. Talk to people in Argentina. Talk to people in many of the African countries that have had hyperinflation. It can certainly happen. And yes, it does lead to a certain amount of social unrest within those countries. So when we think it sounds crazy, if we look back on history, every fiat money system, every paper money system, every one of these, right? This is paper, right? Or electronic. Anything that's not been tethered to real money like silver and gold has failed. And when it fails, how many Confederate dollars here in the United States, how many Confederate dollars does it take to buy an ounce of silver or an ounce of gold for that matter? Ask someone who was around right at the end of the Civil War. They'll tell you they were using Confederate dollars for wallpaper, okay? So it does and will happen. Somebody sent me a real interesting quote just earlier today. It said that when empires fail, it happens quickly. And I don't want to scare anybody. And I'm not saying that, I want it to happen. I don't want it to happen. I happen to live here in the United States. We don't want bad things to happen, but we've got to look at history and we got to look at what's going on and be prepared. So the scenario where gold and silver become very valuable, right? Not measured in fiat money, not measured in that, unicorn fart dust, right? paper money, electronic money, whatever, anything that's not tethered to gold and silver. We don't care. We want to know the value of the ounces of silver, the ounces of gold. And when it goes crazy, when the value shoots up, it's going to be kind of a good, traumatic experience for you. Maybe we won't see it. Possibly, and some people think likely we will. So you want to be prepared, and you want to make sure that if you convert any of your silver, any of your gold into something else, that you're doing it in an advantageous way and that you have a plan, that you've thought about it, okay? Because if you're just reacting to emotion, okay, if you just make these decisions based on fear or elation or anything else, there's a much higher probability that you can make a big mistake. Did I tell you guys already we're going to be opening this mystery package? Smitty, the Silver Bear, has right there. It's from our friend California Cliff. Oh yeah, I told you this already, and I'm sure it's got some silver in it. I'm just sure. I'm like the kid before Christmas because I did a good job. I didn't need tamper with the envelope. It's going to be as much of a surprise to me as it's going to be to you. But let's get back to this scenario. Suddenly you're rich. Suddenly, right? All those ounces of silver. Maybe you've collected some gold, maybe some platinum, right? Neil, out in our friend Neil, out in Cali, and suddenly platinum's $40,000 an ounce. 60,000. I know you're saying, Ron, you're talking crazy. That's never could happen. Absolutely, it could happen. What are you going to do, right? Remember, measure your precious metals, especially under that scenario, in ounces and value. A couple things you can do when it happens. Number one, do you want to exchange? Do you want to convert some of your metal into other assets? Probably, because we're probably going to get to a point where the relative value of silver, of gold, of platinum are so good that there's going to be some attractive deals, right? But you want to buy other real things, like real estate, maybe a house, okay? Maybe some farmland, maybe some machinery, maybe some oil leases, anything real, right? When the exchange for the precious metals for what you're getting is attractive. Like right now, let's talk about houses. A decent little house, right? And any house is good. But let's just, for example's sake, say a nice little house in St. Louis where I live could cost you 10,000 ounces of silver. All right, about, let's say, $250,000. If we get to a situation, and this could happen, where the value of that silver goes up so much, you could possibly be buying houses for 1,000 ounces of silver, maybe for 500 ounces of silver. The guy on Arcadia Economics, I'm forgetting his name, darn it, the nice little guy that lives in, the big guy, whatever, big guy, smart guy, entertaining guy that lives in Israel. I think he made a video about people buying houses for 100 ounces of silver. I think in the Weimar, Germany, during that horrible hyperinflation they had right before World War II, people were buying houses for 10 ounces of silver. I mean, it is absolutely crazy, but you want to make sure that you're making exchanges, you're converting your metal for other real assets. What you don't want to do, this is just my opinion, right? We get to the situation, you're going to have your own plan. But what I personally would caution you against doing is converting any of that metal back into fiat currency, back into the currency that's being debased. Because at this point, right, we already know the dollar has lost 97% of its value since the Federal Reserve came into existence. If we get into that situation, you do not want to convert your metal back into the fiat currency or whatever it may be. Unless something comes around that you feel confident is tethered and is real, maybe a new currency that's backed by real assets. But you don't want to fall into this, oh, I bought this silver for $24 an ounce, Now it's $75 an ounce. I'm going to convert it all back into paper money because you're just going back into this. Now you do whatever you want, but I would personally caution against doing that. Okay. Stocks. People ask me all the time, should I, when the price of the metals goes through the roof, should I buy stocks? Maybe consider buying some stocks only in companies that own real assets. Maybe oil companies, right? Mining companies. If the company owns a lot of assets and has very little debt, then you can consider it. Talking about debt, let's talk about debt, because I get this question all the time. What about if the price of silver and gold goes through the roof and you have some debt? Should you pay the debt off? Generally, I would say absolutely yes, especially if it's any type of debt that has a floating rate, like credit card debt in particular. Credit card debt, the rate gets adjusted with whatever the prevailing interest rates are. And if we get into a hyperinflationary environment and your silver and gold are going through the roof, the price of your silver and gold are crazy, right? Likely what's going to happen with credit card debt that you may have is that rate is going to go crazy as well. They're already crazy. What, 25, 26%? I don't have any credit card debt, so I don't follow it. Now, fixed rate debt. What if you have a mortgage on your house at 3%? Okay? And it's a $200,000 mortgage, and we're in a hyperinflationary environment. I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but you might want to consider just keeping that debt and holding on to your metals, because that debt level will be inflated away. It's similar to what the Federal Reserve is trying to do right now with the national debt. So in that situation, you might want, if it's a fixed rate, right? Mortgages that are a fixed rate at 3%, a low rate, hey, because 10 years later, that $200,000, that might be what you're earning in your job in a month, right? I know all this seems hard to understand, right? I remember my mother-in-law telling me that when she first got married to my father-in-law, who was a wonderful man, I love him dearly, that when he made $10,000 a year, and they did very well, okay, but when he started making $10,000 a year as a salary, she thought they were rich, okay? And the same thing with my mom and dad, same thing with anybody during the 60s or the 50s. So to think now that, we could be making $200,000 a month, well, that might be peanuts if we get into a hyperinflationary environment. You could be making $1 million a month working at McDonald's, okay? And there's nothing wrong with people that work at McDonald's. Always be nice to the people at the fast food restaurants. They're working and they're serving us food. I digress. What about electronic silver and gold? Look, in a situation where ETFs, any of the other electronic versions, you'll want to have some actual metal, because if you don't own it, you don't hold it, you don't own it, right? If you don't hold it, you don't own it. So it's critical, guys, absolutely critical, right, in this situation that you have some physical metal that you own in your possession. I'm not leaving, I'm taking a drink of coffee. Be prepared, because when the day comes, and it can happen quickly, real quickly. I know it feels like it's never going to happen. Hey, we just had another bank fail over the weekend. Okay, I'm going to have a new live stream tomorrow where we're going to talk about that, talk about some other scary things going on in the economy. These things can happen, excuse me, very quickly. Very quickly. It's like Hemingway said. They asked him, how did you go broke? How did you go bankrupt? He said it was a very gradual process, and then it just happened. And same thing with empires, right? It just happens quickly. I don't want it to happen. You don't want it to happen. We don't want to have to deal with the difficulties that might be presented to us, but you want to make sure, since you've made this smart decision to have an interest, to be enthusiastic about precious metals, that you are prepared, okay? That you are ready. Timing will be everything. I will caution you. The price of silver is $1,000 an ounce. The price of silver is $90 an ounce. The price of silver is $55 an ounce. Whatever it might be, I would caution against making any all or nothing type decisions. Meaning, you say, you know what? Silver hit $65 an ounce. I'm selling it all. I'm cashing out, right? No. Just like I recommend that any moves you make into buying silver, you dollar cost average in. You can also dollar cost average out. Thank you for the super chat, Mark. Mark Razor. Thank you. Much appreciated, my friend. I had a friend who was a top trader at a company in St. Louis called A.G. Edwards. You may have heard of them. Prestigious. I think now they're owned by Wells Fargo. They got in trouble during the financial crisis. Anyway, he was a top trader there. They actually, back in the day, would give him big sums of money and say, do whatever you want with it. And he was a great guy. I was talking to him one time about a stock I owned that had gone up, and I'm like, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it. He had the bet. This is a golden nugget of financial advice, and this relates to anything you buy that goes up, 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 up in value. His name was John, and John said, Ron, here's what I would recommend. Sell half. So sell half of the stock you own that's gone up and hope that you're wrong. Meaning you cash out half of it and you hope that that was a bad decision and that the other half that you hold on to continues to go up. Because imagine this. Imagine in the next 6 months, the price of silver shoots up to $65 an ounce. $80. Let's say $80, which is a nice round number. The next 6 months, okay, 6 months from today, right? July, I can't even do. What's that going to be? January, the end of January, if I got that correct? We're sitting with $80 silver. And you're like nervous because you're like, I've got all this silver. I bought it for $23 an ounce. It's $80 an ounce. I'm cashing out. Ain't nothing wrong with that, okay? And now you got a bunch of unicorn fart dust. Congratulations. Hopefully you're converting it into something else that's real, but nonetheless, you cash it all out. And then over the next 6 months, you watch it go from 80 to 200 or 80 to 120. Or who knows, if things really get crazy, 80 to what Bix Weir and those guys say, 600. Then you're like, oh, but if you'd only sell half of it, cash out half at 80 and keep the other half, right? Well, you know what? Hope you're wrong and hope it does go up. And if it does go down, well, then you can say, well, at least I cashed out half. Now it's only worth 40, but I paid 20 for it anyway. And I love silver and I want to keep my silver. Sell half and hope you're wrong. Just an idea, not giving financial advice, just a broad concept on a way that you can manage your money, your assets, especially when they shoot through the roof. Another big key thing to keep in mind as we have massive moves in the metals. I'm going to get to that next, but I want to check a couple of the comments and see who's here. Snakebite, thank you again, Snakebite. Thank you, Mark Razor and Snakebite for the super chats. Very appreciated, very helpful. Hello, Neil Hounds Dynasty. Somebody had a good question. If you could repeat the question and put 3 question marks or retype it, I'll address it right now if it's something that you think I could have some insight on. Maybe you guys answered it yourself. Hello, Daryl Glass. Hello, Trish Bowen. Hello, Adrian again, our good friend Adrian. Hello, Desert Rose. That's the number I want. Well, that's another way to look at $333 per ounce. Guys, it can happen. It absolutely can happen that we see silver go that high. Somebody pointed out this morning, right? 20 years ago, silver was $4.50 per ounce. It's gone up 5 times, over 5 times in the last 20 years. Absolutely, it was 80 an ounce back in 1980. I'm not going to argue that point, but it's not out of the question to see unbelievable, especially the story behind silver and platinum, right? As their supply-demand dynamics. Those metals in particular, gold's more the steady eddy, but silver and platinum have like a crazy crazy ability. Kenosha! Is that Kenosha, Wisconsin? I went to Kenosha a few years ago. Guys, you got to go to Kenosha. It's on Lake Michigan. They got a trolley you can ride. They have a dinosaur museum. And they have all kinds of fun stuff in Kenosha. Good to see you there, Tommy Sevens. Now, guys, we got another big thing to think about, right? And talk about when it comes to skyrocketing silver and gold and platinum prices, for that matter, as well. But I still want to say hi to a few of you guys, and we're going to open that right there in just a few minutes. Okay. Has anybody seen Richard Cooper by chance? Is Richard Cooper on the live stream? I'm not sure if we see Richard. Crime, yeah, you want to protect yourself. Oh, there was one other thing outside of silver and gold in terms of being prepared, okay, is a skill, something you can offer other people. Are you a handyman? Are you handy? Do you know about electricity? Do you know about, all of us have some skill that we could develop, because if things get really hairy, you're going to want to have something of value that you can offer other people. All right? And that's a very key thing to remember. Cooper jumped out of the plane. All right, the final point I want to make on the skyrocketing silver and gold, the skyrocketing silver and gold scenario is keep an eye on the silver to gold ratio. Right now, it costs about 82 ounces of silver, maybe 85, somewhere in the 80s of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. If you're a heavy silver stacker, right, we could see the silver to gold ratio get to 40 to 1, get to 50 to 1. If it got to 40 to 1 right now, today, we would have $50 silver. If it got to 20 to 1, and there are people that say it could get to 20 to 1, that would be, if my math is correct, what, $75 silver? No, $100 silver. Some people even say that it could get to parity at some point, because they're looking at the fact that there's more gold above ground right now, hidden in your basement. I know what you're up to, right? Hidden in your backyard, under a tree, hidden somewhere in a vault. There's more gold. Some people say twice as much gold above ground as there is silver. I don't even know the number for platinum. Maybe Neil can chime in on that if he's read anything or knows anything about that. But the point is, you can consider, if you hold a lot of silver or you hold a lot of platinum, when those ratios come more back to normal, right? Because I think it's 17 to 1 silver to gold in the Earth's crust. Converting some of the other metals, converting some silver into gold, converting some platinum into gold, right? And then play it back and forth. A lot of people do that, and it works very, very well for them. Adrian, yeah, there's some debate on all these numbers, okay, guys? No doubt about it. Yeah, you want to have water. You definitely want to have water. Steve Newberry fixes cars in Mesa. Why does Plutus have 2,500? Sassy Silver? That's because the platinum guru himself. Did you know we have a platinum guru? We have a guy who knows more about platinum than anyone on the face of the earth, I think. But he knows a lot, I can tell you that. His name is Neil Hans Dynasty. And Neil named him Plutus, the platinum polar bear. And I asked Neil, said, what's the number that you see for platinum? Don't forget, platinum at times has been higher per ounce than gold. So right now, if that were the case, we could be at 25. And I know CoinShop Chris is getting hot on platinum. I know that, and if maybe CoinShop Chris, if he wants, can share a story that a little snippet that he gave me the other night regarding one of the wholesalers he was talking to about acquiring platinum for the coin shop. I don't know if Chris, I don't want to say it if Chris doesn't want it to be known. So Chris, if you want, you can put that in the comments. But, that Neil from Neil Hans Dynasty, right? Neil's a respected member of the basement and helping. He's here right now. Yes, Neil. Yeah, okay, Mark Razor says he's almost old enough to remember silver to gold ratio of 20-1. All right, guys, let's open this package that we have from our friend California Cliff, because I haven't seen Richard Cooper. We are going to get an update from the United Kingdom at some point from the Honorable Richard Cooper. I don't know that it'll be tonight, but stay tuned to a future live stream because Richard's going to tell us what's going on in the United Kingdom, what it's like right now, okay? But let's, without further ado, let's open this envelope and see what's inside. I've got the scissors. Okay, I'm not leaving. I'm just going right here. Here's the old Platinum Bear. Wow. This is heavy. This is heavy. No doubt about it. Can you see? All right. Wow. I did not open it. This comes from our friend in California. California Cliff. I'm so excited. I feel like a kid on Christmas. All right, guys. Oh, here we go. Oh, my gosh. So, oh, there's a nice note. Wow. Let's see what's in here. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Wow, there's silver in here. Wow, this is beautiful. Wait till you see this. 1 troy ounce fine silver. Oh my gosh. Here, I'll show you. And on the back, it appears to be the Aztec calendar. Wait till you, I don't know, hopefully the camera will do that justice. Look at that detail. And we're going to talk about these because he sent me something that he wants me to read to you about these. Wow. That is beautiful. Okay, now there's something else here as well. Oh my gosh. This is cool too. A Mexico 1948 90% 5 peso. Oh shoot, I accidentally tore a little bit of the white paper up. This is a, look at that. Oh man. Yeah, I feel bad that I tore some of that cardboard off with the tape, but I'm not perfect. This is a 1948 90% silver 5 peso coin. I don't have any Mexican coins. Wow. Check this out. I feel like the luckiest guy. You guys are so generous with me. Wow. It's I get moved when I get these packages from you. Thank you, California Cliff. Man. Now let me read something he sent about these particular coins. Bear with me 1 second here, guys, because he had a message that he wanted me to share. These come from the Golden State Mint, which I've heard of. I've never bought anything from them. Wow, yeah, very happy, very touched. Okay, hold on here. Bear with me. I'll be there. I'm going to be here in 1 second. Okay. Here's what he wrote about these coins. He says, as the time of financial catastrophe approaches ever nearer. Boy, that relates to what we're talking about tonight. If we have financial catastrophe and the price of silver and gold go through the roof, we're going to be prepared. All right? Perhaps we should think of our silver stacks as the best coins available to compete in successful bartering practices come that future day. Will the Streets become flooded with China and North Korea counterfeits. I tell you, that's something, and Coin Shop Chris really turned me on to this. Guys, there's a lot of counterfeit silver coins out there. I've got one here in my possession. Look, that's a magnet sticking to what was supposed to be a Morgan. I'm sorry, I keep going off subject. Will the streets become flooded with counterfeits from China and North Korea as past U.S. mintage? Or will the frightened and unsure practices of an adjusting public itself having things to sell look for certain reputable mint names on these rounds of ours? Clifton of California, I like to call him California Cliff, recommends Sanford, Florida's Golden State Mint. He says, surely the word perfection is to be found somewhere in the motto of theirs, should they have one. But can we far-sighted ones of Ron's Basement, that's us guys, continue indulging the amassing of rounds and coins, having the effigies that altogether are not serious? That means some of these goofy coins that are out there. And should we not better ourselves by gaining a substantial collection of immediately respected ounce and fractional partial ounce silver pieces? For the explaining to our public in every bartering instance, just whatever is an esoteric, far-out meaning shown by some overly imaginative design, like marijuana plants, the goofy stuff they put on some of these coins, is but a put-off, a dissuader at the time of purchase. The Golden State Mint has taken the 90% silver 1948 Mexico 5 peso coin and done its admirable minting with a facsimile, I can't say that word, facsimile of features, using 10th ounce size up on through the other common fractions. So they make 1/10 of an ounce through 10-ounce bars, calling it an Aztec calendar. The Aztec calendar is fascinating. Thank you, Thomas Toops. I just saw a super chat pop up. Wow. Calling it an Aztec calendar round. This features the warrior king, Cuauhtémoc, the last emperor of the Aztecs, 1522 AD. This 1948 sovereign coin and the GSM Golden State Mint round exhibit the same border pattern, same face, and same shape headdress with similar style of lettering font throughout. Now, a south of the border immigrant who will see this image is going to recognize it immediately for what it is, this having both the prestige of a government and a revered history. California Cliff believes that fresh produce to be bartered for during times of crisis can be more easily acquired with pure silver rounds you present at roadside stands a ways out in the countryside. Right now, there are price breaks, okay? I'm not sponsored by this company, and I don't believe Cliff's not either. He just is pointing this out because he truly believes and wants to share this message. There are price breaks for buying silver at Golden State Mint. For 1 ounce, the usual price ranges at quantity of 19, then for 99, with the day's silver spot price at $24. Spot at $24.47. This Aztec calendar round is specially priced at $26.86. Right? We get the Coin Shop Chris deal of the week. This is the California Cliff deal of the week. $26.86 for the Aztec round, regardless of quantity. Other designs now are higher. Golden State Mint offers military discount, and when you're in free shipping, when your order exceeds $200, they take personal checks but have a surcharge for credit cards. A chat with the front office is available online during normal business hours. Emails are returned the next day. Ron's Basement participant Clifton of California, who I like to call California Cliff, sees no drawbacks to and offers no cautioning as to regards this direct-to-the-public mint. So they're a mint that sells direct to the public. Golden State Mint, definitely worth checking out. Guys, look at the detail on the back of this coin. It's stunning. It really is. I'm going to spend a lot of time staring at this one. And these are I really appreciate it. Thank you, California Cliff. Thank you. And this 5 peso coin is just cool. I'm going to get a capsule to put it in because I tore off a little bit of the cardboard on the back. Super, super nice. And again, we aren't sponsored by this company, but I'll tell you, for 1 ounce of silver, that's a darn good price for a very cool designed round. I'd be curious if Coin Shop Chris thinks as well. Hey, we got 100! We got 100 thumbs up. That means 10 rings of the bell, right? I almost forgot. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, you guys are the best. I tell you what. Let's go to the comments and see what's going on. 100 likes. Yes. Desert Rose says hers are 2 ounce. Yeah, I believe they make a 2 ounce version of that coin as well. We see nothing, Ron. We'll take your word. I got a bunch of 2 ounce and 1.5 ounce of a roll Aztecs. Yeah, the Aztecs, that's fascinating, right? I mean, this is super fascinating, and I really appreciate, what Cliff talked about, right? If we get into a situation, guys, and, I know it sounds crazy to think, but where people are actually bartering, where money becomes paper money, electronic money becomes almost worthless, right? You want to make sure that you have things that you can exchange. 1 ounce coins of silver, to me, that's ideal. I like 10 ounce bars as well, right? But it's going to be hard to go buy a small item with a 10 ounce bar. So you want to make sure you have some smaller. Coin Shop Chris, thank you, says, yes, Golden State Mint is very good. All right, that's awesome. So now we've got news of another bank going bust, a bank in Kansas. I've not been able to dig in completely, but the FDIC took over a bank on Friday. They always do it on Friday after the close of business. Have you noticed that? Isn't that interesting? They don't want to disrupt the market. I guess they didn't know until 4 o'clock on Friday that they were going to shut the bank down, right? Interesting. What is that telling us about what's going on out there? All right, guys, questions? 3 question marks will get my attention. If there's something you want me to talk about, if you have a comment, if you disagree with me, please, right? 3 question marks. We don't like rudeness, and we won't stand for that, but it's okay to disagree with me or say, Ron, I think you're wrong about this, and this is why. The Silver Sphincter says Aztecs go all the way down to 1/10 ounce. So these are available. Okay, wow, absolutely beautiful. These are available anywhere from 1/10 of an ounce all the way up to 10 ounces. And I don't know the specifics, but obviously they probably have 1/2 ounce, 1 ounce, 2 ounce. I don't know about 5, but they also have 5 ounce bars. And Coin Shop Chris says he's heard good things about okay, great questions coming through. Zarina Gerling asks, what is your preference for 1 ounce silver? That's a great question. I would generally say for 1 ounce silver, I like a low premium sovereign coin because you get the security features of a sovereign coin. When I say a sovereign coin, I mean something like this, because price matters, right? When I'm converting, that's a Krugerrand, a South African Krugerrand. Let's see if you guys can see that. I love that. It was my favorite coin of the year, but now I kind of like Aztecs. Okay, I like a low premium sovereign coin. Kangaroos, even the Australian kangaroos. I love American Silver Eagles. I just gave my last one away. I sent it to a guy in Paris. It's a long story, nonetheless. Because I think it's a good balance. You get the security and the recognition of the sovereign coin. Again, whether it's a Krugerrand, American Silver Eagles, the premiums have come down, but they're still pretty high. I think like $5 an ounce. But you also get a decent price and barterability, right? If you need to barter with them. Doesn't seem like a lot of the generic rounds are that much more affordable than what you can get with some of the sovereign coins. Let me go back up. There was another question. War nickels. That's a great point. Hello, my friend. You know what? We're going to do a whole segment next week. Coin Shop Chris and I are going to talk about war nickels because honestly, I know very little about them. There were nickels that were minted during World War II. I think I could be wrong, but like 2 or 3 years, like 42 to 45. Coin Shop Chris knows a lot more about them, and they are made out of silver, and so Chris is going to have to tell us. But it's funny because today I went to a big, massive coin show, and Coin Shop Chris texted me and said, if you can find some war nickels, the melt value is this. I think that you can get these war nickels a lot of time for less than what the silver are close to what the silver value of the war nickels is because I guess they needed the nickel during World War II, so they started using silver in the nickels instead. Because typically junk silver is not typically, it's going to be dimes, quarters, half dollars, right? And silver. So that's what I know about war nickels. I want to learn more about war nickels. I love the 1965, the 1969 Kennedy half dollars, and it always drives Coin Shop Chris crazy. Crazy that I don't say some of the 1970s as well. They're 40% silver, 60% copper, and they can, if you shop around, can be had for like 3 or 4% above the silver value, and everybody snubs their nose. Everybody says, Ron, you're stupid for buying the Kennedy half dollars. Nobody wants them. Ew, people snub their nose at them. Hey, that's great. I'll buy them all day long, right? I'll tell you a story. In 1993, I bought a little condo, and I'll never forget, it was 4th of July. And back then in St. Louis, people snubbed their nose like, you don't want to buy a condo because you got to pay. I bought the condo, I can't believe this, back then it was $55,000. And 2 years later, I sold it for $85,000. But I was at this 4th of July party at my Uncle Dan's house, and I told a few people I had just bought the condo, just signed the contract, and they're like, you're stupid. You should never buy a condo. It's a bad investment. You'll never make money on it. Same thing people are saying about the Kennedy half dollars right now. Just my opinion. I could be dead wrong. Maybe I am a dum-dum, right? I'm not always right. But 4 years ago, people snubbed their nose at regular junk silver, and look at the premiums on that now. Sorry. I digress. There was another great question. Here we go. Chef Stacker says, will the drug cartels give up their cash for CBDCs? I don't know. That's a good question, right? If cash eventually is outlawed, what are the criminals going to do, right? And that's the thing that always gets me about silver and gold. In the government, in the power structures, efforts to discourage the mainstream population from buying silver and gold, to discourage, right? That's what they've done. They've discouraged you away from buying silver and gold. They discouraged your parents and maybe your grandparents as well, depending on how old you are, right? They made it illegal to own, Roosevelt, 1933, to own gold. And then just about the time they made it illegal again for you to own it, just prior to that, in 1971, Nixon took us off the gold standard. And there's been a coordinated effort, and some people even say in Hollywood, right? Because they use Hollywood movies to kind of, I don't want to say brainwash, psyops or whatever it might be, to dissuade people away from gold. Oh, it's for criminals. It's for pirates. It's illegal, right? Yeah. So drug lords. Oh, this is what the point I want to make is, drug lords don't usually have big piles. Anytime you see a big drug bust on TV, right? What do they always have? They have rooms with pallets full of cash, U.S. dollars, $100 bills. not piles of gold and silver. Maybe they have some, but this whole idea that silver and gold is like dirty, James Bond type stuff. Not true. As a matter of fact, can't we make the argument? Some people call it God's money, the universe's money, Mother Nature's money, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. Hello, Laffy Taffy. Good to see you, my friend. Great to see you. Mike asked, $30 silver by next month. I think we'll have $30. I think we'll have $35 silver by January next month. That's going to be a stretch. Possible? Yes. Probable? I don't know. Remember, guys, 3 question marks, and you get the floor. I love Britannia's. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Oh, boy. All right, let's go. We got more to talk about. We aren't done yet. It's Saturday night in the basement. Oh, man. I apologize. I forgot the most important part. Recognizing you, right? There's one you right now with me here in the basement. Sure, we're 300 strong right now. Okay? But there's one you. And it's a big deal that you're here. It's a big deal that we're together. Be nice to each other. Almost all of you are. Some of the nicest people I've ever met on the face of the earth, including Timothy Zub, who I see scrolling through the comments. Timothy Zub, who's been with Ron's Basement pretty much from day one. But nonetheless, this is not possible without you. It's Saturday night. You're giving me some of your time. I appreciate it. It's a huge, huge honor. And I haven't said this forever, but it's super true. You guys are a little smarter than the average bear, okay? My general consensus, 2 things. You're a little nicer than the average person, and you're definitely smarter. We talk about some pretty in-depth stuff, some pretty deep concepts, right? Like, you aren't sitting around watching cartoons right now, or even watching, nothing wrong with Netflix. I watch some Netflix, but you're choosing to dig in, and I appreciate it. It's a big deal. If you haven't subscribed, please consider. That helps. And please give this a thumbs up, because we don't quit. We are not quitters till we get to 200 thumbs up. All right? Chile says, U.S. dollars cash is used big time outside of the USA. In South America, it's what people convert to, quote unquote, preserve their wealth. Yeah, and isn't that sad? Because what they really would maybe benefit from doing in South America is converting that cash into precious metals. Right? Yes, the dollar has been used. It's the most dominant currency in the world. I read of something. Maybe somebody can come in. Do you know about this? Because I read an article the other day that hey, Shadow Work, thank you for the super chat, man. Much appreciated. I appreciate that. But the dollar, I think it's from China, they were saying, the amount of US dollar, $100 bills that are counterfeited, it's staggering, okay? I mean, or maybe it was in Russia or parts of Africa, that the counterfeit operations are staggering and scary, right? Because, hey, look, I don't have every penny I have in silver, guys. I own some of these as well, but we know that this guy's, where'd he go? We know that this guy, yeah, he's got a printing press, but if other people have printing presses, right, it just totally devalues the dollar. It's a scary, scary proposition. Oh boy, I missed a whole bunch of comments. King Dollar! King Dollar! Yeah, bad storms came through St. Louis, probably heading to Kentucky, guys. Be careful. Again, Shadow Work, thank you, man. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know what to say. Ecuador uses the dollar as their currency. All right, let's get back here. Okay. Interesting. This is interesting. Quick little article from Kitco. All right. We know since, I don't know, what, 18 months ago, who's been killing? Who's been our enemy? Silver and gold enthusiasts. Yeah, you got that right. Okay. It has been the Fed, the Federal Reserve, right? Raising interest rates. And then every other country in the world raising interest rates. The Fed paused and then the Fed just raised again. But are we starting to see some cracks throughout the world? We are, because here's the headline. Brazil, which is a major economy, set to kick off monetary easing with a small rate cut on August 2nd. It says Brazil's central bank is poised for its first interest rate cut in 3 years on Wednesday, with most economists anticipating a small reduction despite government calls for more action as inflation cools and economic activity loses steam. So Brazil's economy is slowing down, right? And now what are they going to do? They're going to start cutting rates. Okay? Their rates have been at almost 14% since September of 2022. Now they're going to cut. And who's going to be next? When are we going to hear about rate cuts in the United States? Ron, please sing Silver and Gold from The Sound of Music. I will do that. I will sing it for you, okay? I promise. Oh, God, if you dig through my archives, guys, I actually made a video probably 2 years ago about the song from The Sound of Music, when the dog bites, when the bird, and it was all about silver and gold. It's somewhere out there. Good luck if you find it, and I apologize in advance if you listen to it, okay? Because I did sing. We the people, I'll sing. Silver and Gold from The Sound of Music, all right? I'm not going to do it tonight, but I will. Ron, come here to Vancouver. I've been to Vancouver 15 years ago. I went there 3 times. I love Vancouver. I actually thought about moving to Vancouver. I will take you to the First Majestic Silver head office to buy some silver and maybe meet Keith. Yeah, that would be awesome. I've had a couple webinars. One webinar with Keith. And thank you again, Shadow Work, Keith Newmeyer. What does Keith Newmeyer say? Triple digit silver. And I don't, some people like him, don't like him. I like Keith Newmeyer. I've always had a ton of respect for Keith Newmeyer. To me, he's like the king of silver, like the crown prince of silver. Hold on. I got so much we need to talk about. Not enough time. Oh, this is a great one. And I'm going to repeat this tomorrow, so I'm warning you. Okay? But this is a nugget. Okay? And this is a comment. We read all your comments. Your comments matter in the videos. Your comments right now matter. Okay? This comes from Brian Smith. We talk about a recession. Oh, Jerome Powell says we're not in a recession. Janet Yellen says we're not in a recession. Okay? Everything's great. Joe Biden, economic miracle. I'm going to bring up one point. How we're spending $1 trillion more a year than we bring in, okay? Well, God, I would hope we would have a little bit of economic growth if we're spending $1 trillion more than we bring in every year, which adds to our already huge debt pile, which adds to our already huge and growing interest expense, which then adds back to the debt. It's like the snowball going downhill. I'm not going to go there. Don't worry, right? I'm not going to go there. But the United States is barreling towards a bad situation. But the economy's great. We're not in a don't you dare. How could you even think? Thank you, Shadow Work. Man, you're being overly generous, okay? Always appreciated, never expected. This is viewer-supported basement. Thank you. How could you listen to me. My dad would get mad at me when I was a kid. I was not the easiest kid to raise, okay? And he would always say, I'm going to tell you something right now. My dad was a big, tough guy, great guy, still alive, 83 years old. Nicest guy in the world, but man, he was tough. He was in the Air Force. He always had this tough uniform on. He was a missile man. Anyway, how could you say we're in a recession? That's a bad word. I bet if you say that R word in Washington, D.C., you get snubbed. This is a great comment from Brian Smythe, S-M-Y-T-H-E. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I'm sorry if I mispronounced it because names are important. Listen to this. This is a nugget. He says, all you have to ask yourself, are you better off now than you were 1 year ago or 2 years ago? Are you better off right now than you were 1 year ago or 2 years ago? Heck, even 10, 20, or 30 years ago. The honest answer is no. So we are in a recession. Forget what these disinformation news people say, right? I mean, really, are Americans, I mean, maybe because of, unique circumstances, you are better off now than you were 2 years ago. But overall, on average, are American, let's go talk to 300 average Americans on the street and say, hey, are you better off now than you were 2 years ago? I bet 95% of them would say no. Now, maybe some guy got a better job, whatever, but nonetheless, no, we aren't. So are we in a recession? Yes. And if this is the best they can do, imagine what it could get like as things happen. Don't forget, guys. Don't forget. We got the effects of all these interest rate hikes that went on during the last 18 months. They are barreling down the rails at us right now. It's called the lag effect. I'm going to beat the table every single day because we need to be afraid of what's coming. It's the lag effect. It takes 6, 9, 12 months for the effects of the interest rate hikes to be felt. It's like a medicine you take that doesn't really take effect for 28 days, right? Or for 2 months. The interest rate doesn't take effect for 3, 6, 9 months. The interest rate hikes. The interest rates, the hike they just did 2 days ago, 3 days ago, that's not going to be felt until January. All right. And then it's going to continue to be felt and through March and even in through next summer, through right now. We're just now starting to feel it. While everything's so screwed up. I mean, they have screwed it up like it's disgusting. I won't go there. These quote unquote elected officials of ours, they really screwed it up. That's why you have silver. That's why you have gold. Okay. Hey guys, hey Timothy Zub, Chili. Yeah, right. Yeah, now they want us to tip everybody, right? And we like to be generous. Marshman, silver shoes, silver hats, let's go, greed. Hey, can we get to 200 thumbs up? Like, look, we got 300 people here on a Saturday night. If you could please give this a thumbs up. And the reason why, right? Does that help me? Does that help the channel? Yeah, sure. But it also helps YouTube know that you like this information. So if you like what we're talking about, if you think people would benefit, please give it a thumbs up. And when we get to 200, right here next to Buddy Rumble's crystal ball, I've got the bell I'm going to ring, and we're almost there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Absolutely. 20 more. Let's go. Hey, Mountain Bullion Entertainment. We're going to have Brian on again soon. Brian did a great job on an interview. Guys, go check out Mountain Bullion Entertainment. He's getting started. It's a new channel, Mountain Bullion Entertainment. And this is a good guy, okay? This is a good guy. And you'll recognize, if you're like me, I don't know, I can tell, even just watching people's YouTube videos. Brian at Mountain Bullion Entertainment is a good dude, okay? Go subscribe to his channel. Help him out. We got 200! Uh-oh, the bell's not working. Can you hear it? Can you guys hear it? I don't know what's wrong. Man, that is loud, I'm telling you. If you ever need to get, this is, I think, just like you get at a farm store. It's a real cowbell, and it works. It'll drive you crazy, man. It'll drive you crazy. Okay, the Desert Rose says getting really close to 20. Yeah, we're getting close to 25,000 subscribers. Joe Folan says he can definitely hear the bell. Yeah, you guys have been great. Your support on many levels, okay? Coin Shop Chris, Neil from Neil Hans Dynasty. Sharon Johnson, thank you. Man, thank you for the super chat. You guys have been awesome. Suzie, Buddy Rumble, Bill Starr, all you guys have contributed. Brian from Mountain Bullion Entertainment helped me put out a great piece of content, okay? This has been a wonderful journey. And you know what? We're going to continue on this together because do you love silver? Do you love gold? Do you love platinum? I don't know any of us that stack palladium, but maybe you do. But we do. And, we'd love to talk about not just the metals and their beauty and their all that, but the value behind it. And, I've never told anyone, buy silver, you'll get rich. Buy silver, you'll get rich. No, right? Buy silver, maybe you'll get happy. And if you start to learn about silver and learn about gold, you'll get very interested and you'll actually feel more secure in your life. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Now, here's the bonus kicker. This is the way I look at silver. Yeah, could silver, this video started about talking about whoa, I just moved you. There was an earthquake called my toe. We started this video talking about what to do if silver explodes in value, if gold explodes in value, platinum explodes in value. I think at minimum, we're in a situation where if you've got a chunk of your money in silver and gold, the worst case that could happen, right? The worst case, most likely, is that it's going to help you maintain it's going to protect your wealth. It's going to help you maintain. I mean, we got 5,000 years of history to fall back on that it has. We know that it's scarce. We know that it's universally accepted. We know that a growing segment of the world is making serious moves to help gold and silver reclaim, right? Or gosh, what's the word that they're doing? Like gold and silver have always been the base of all money. So we got half the world moving towards recognizing it again, freeing it from jail, right? I think that, that's I've never thought about. What do you guys think about that? Like when Nixon took the U.S. off the gold standard, he kind of put silver and gold illegally, put them in jail, right? Yeah, they're not valuable anymore. They're no good. Don't talk about them. And now the world is moving to let silver, gold, and platinum out of jail, right? So at minimum, it can maintain your value. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do. But I do think that there's a chance, a reasonably good chance, that they can also help not just maintain wealth, but increase wealth as well. Like we talked about, how you can convert, right, some of your silver, some of your gold for real assets when the relative value of them becomes greater, right? Like right now, you know how I met Coin Shop Chris? You guys all know Coin Shop Chris, right? He's a dandy fella. He's one of the nicest, most honest, pure people you're ever going to meet, right? He'll help any of you. Trust me. He's helped hundreds of people with questions. I can tell you that. But you know how I met him? I'm going through my email one day, and this guy sends me a picture of lettuce. This is how I met Coin Shop Chris. I'm looking at my email. I'm like, what's this? I click on it. It's a picture, and it's a head of lettuce, and it says, look, at my local grocery store, lettuce costs $5. And I laughed. I thought, well, that's funny. And he said, so I think at the time, silver was like down to $20 an ounce. So he said, for what you can exchange 1 ounce of silver for 4 heads of lettuce. And I thought, this guy's pretty smart, right? Pretty funny. So I emailed him back and I was like, I don't think that's a very good trade. I don't feel like I want to take this, right? Beautiful new Cliff from California sent me 1 ounce round, right? Do I want to trade that for 4 heads of lettuce? Come on, man. Are you kidding me? I think this is undervalued, right? I said, that's crazy. I didn't even know him at that point, dude. And we started bantering back and forth. I'm like, maybe at some point I might consider trading 1 ounce of silver for, I don't know, 100 heads of lettuce. Maybe I'll trade 1 ounce of silver for 200 heads of lettuce. But I sure as heck aren't going to trade an ounce of silver for 4 heads of lettuce. We may get into a situation where, and I'm going to get done talking about lettuce really soon, okay? But we could get into a situation where, like I said, that 1 ounce of silver, it may get you hundreds, maybe even 1,000 heads of lettuce. What the heck are you going to do? Open a salad shop? Why are you even thinking about buying all this lettuce? What's wrong with you, Chris? Coin Shop Chris, the one and only. World famous. Don't forget, guys, there's a new video out. Chris does a lot of work, and he comes up with what he thinks is a very attractive proposition, and there's no commission involved. We aren't getting any direct or indirect payments for this. It's called the Coin Shop Chris Deal of the Week. And we have a video out. You can go check it out. It came out at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And you can hear from Coin Shop Chris, right? Stop listening to me. Trust me. I get sick of listening to him. Look at all these ones for Coin Shop Chris. Wow. Everybody loves Coin Shop Chris. Silver will be the new gold. Possibly Lightworker. Marshmaz. The Richard Nixon curse stops on August 22nd. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Guys, big day. I mean, what the heck? Now it's 3 weeks away, the big BRICS conference. At minimum, I think we're going to see some fireworks during that whole situation. That's going to be interesting. I claimed that we were going to get $2,000 gold this weekend, and I said I didn't think silver. It was going to take a little while for silver to get traction. Everything was going just as planned until Thursday morning. They put out great GDP numbers, and that torpedoed. Really, silver was down $1 because the United States GDP grew at 2.4%. Nonetheless, right, what a joke. I'm telling you, the Chinese laugh at us the way the silver price is manipulated. Nonetheless, so we had a rough little blip there in the gold price and the silver price, but it hung in good. I mean, what we closed the week with gold at 1960 per ounce. People are laughing at the lettuce story. I swear on everything, anyone's life, that's a true story, by the way. The price of silver, the price of gold, look, they are like poised, okay? And they've hung in pretty darn good. So it's going to be an interesting month ahead. It's going to be an interesting 3 months ahead. It's going to be an interesting 6 months ahead. Look, Ali Crow, I was wrong about my $2,000 prediction. If we hit Christmas time and I'm down here and I light the Christmas, you can't even see the Christmas tree. Well, when I light the Christmas tree, if we've got low silver, low gold, look, I don't have a crystal ball. I could be dead wrong. All right. But Ali Crow, I just think we're in for an interesting 6 months coming up. Another bank failed. A small bank, not a huge bank, but a bank failed on Friday. Chili says we should use all that lettuce and cabbage and use it to throw at our politicians. Yeah, I like cabbage more than lettuce. Zarina Gerling says, the longer silver stays under, the more time that we can accumulate more silver. It's not far off from Coin Shop Chris and the lettuce. Research Zimbabwe. I think it's poised. I think it's like a coiled spring that has been coiled beyond recognition. Not wrong, but early, says Silver Lunatic. Yeah. Keep some money, guys, because there is a chance. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to have an event that is going to torpedo the silver price. But keep some money, keep some dry powder. That's what I'm doing anyway, and I'm not giving financial advice. Okay? I thought the UPS strike was resolved, Polis, but maybe we're wrong. Snake bite. Everybody loves snake bite, right? We the people, basement dwellers. I forgot to say that. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. I'm going to sign off. I'll be on tomorrow. We're going to talk about what's going on with the banks. We're going to talk about some other interesting things going on out there. Thank you for being here. You know what? I'm losing my voice. But you know what? You are important. If you want me to say your name and where you're from, put it in the comments. I'm going to do my best, okay? I'm on my toes. I'm ready. See if I can keep up. This is a big challenge. See if you guys can beat me. See if you can beat me. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Does anybody want to hear me? North Carolina, 420 Stacker. Polis. It's time for the coffee. Chris from the moon. Chill. Thank you from Denver, Colorado. See you in the morning, Joe. Ridgecrest, California. Daryl. Mike is Mike. Australia, Rod. Good to see you. Dean R. You're welcome. Sharon Johnson's in Missouri. Medibles in Utah. BCC's in Gilligan's Island, Canada. John Nitchner is Rafi. Thank you, Rafi Farver. I don't know Rafi's name, so slipped me. Ron in the mods, yes. Thank you, Snakebite, the state of Missouri. Cool Ken, Kent from Silicon Valley. Shadowwork, North Carolina. Freedom Ring in Brooklyn. Wayne from Maryland. LL's in Georgia. Trish from Vegas. Brian from Texas. Gerald Draper, Chicagoland. I'm a blue demon myself. The Desert Rose is in Arizona. That's where we know you got that name. Chuck is in Marietta, Georgia. Joe Folan's in Wisconsin. We the People's embarrassed to be from New York. Mike's in Sacramento. Rick Korutz is from upstate New York. I went to the Niagara Falls once. It was beautiful. Frank T. from Texas. Gonzo's from California. Chris is from Central Coast, Australia. Squirrel Savas from Wisconsin. I'm going to Wisconsin soon. I love Wisconsin. Chile, the feds, okay. Northern Minnesota, Karen Wilson. Let's News is cashing out some silver if it gains a lot to invest in crypto. Good luck with that. That's fine. Everybody can do whatever they want. Joe Folens from De Beers. Good evening, Douglas Bird. Thank you, Coin Shop Chris. Indiana, Douglas Bird. Santa Rosa, California, the Salty Monkey. I think I'm going to pass out, guys. I hate the Packers but love the Bears. The Raiders. Bushcraft Jedis from Australia. Coin Shop Chris are going to come there and do an RV tour when silver hits $150 per ounce. What do you think of that, Coin Shop Chris? All right, last news from the UK. Richard B. Has a question. All right, I'll come back. Thank you, Shadow Work. Wow, you guys are awesome. HVAC Residential Basics is from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you, Coin Shop Chris. Yep, Coin Shop Chris we're going to Australia too after we go around North America. Arkansas, Wyatt Bede. Somebody had a question. Here it was. What options do we have when we want to cash out of precious metals? I would not want to cash out into fiat. Yes, which I want to avoid in the first place. I guess I would have to Google the fiat price. Go back, Richard, and watch the replay of this. I talk about it in detail. If you're going to cash out of your metals, okay, don't cash. Convert it to other real asset. Screwy from St. Louis. Joe Fowler. That's right, Joe. The man who gave us the bell. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. One of my nieces went to college there at a fancy college. What the hell was that called? Oh, shoot. There's a fancy college in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. My lovely niece went there. What the hell was that place called? Anyway, she said the classes at this college, even though it was a real expensive college, were still structured around the shifts at the steel plant, if I remember correctly. Oh, darn it. What's the name of that? Somebody, come on. Somebody tell me. What's the name? Lehigh. Yep, that's it. Lehigh University. Lehigh University. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. Thank you for being here. You are important, okay? The fact that you're here is special to me. It's important to me. You've interacted with other people, okay? I want you to come back. You're always welcome in the basement, and I'll see you soon, okay? Thank you.